Today we are going to talk about what is yoga. Most often people associate yoga with physical stretches. The concept of the physical dimension of yoga is very strong in the minds of people. Is this the real dimension of yoga? If we examine the research evidence of comparing yoga with other forms of physical exercise, for example like dance aerobics, Feldenkrais, etc., it has been established that yoga has the deepest relaxation possibility. This has been measured both by psychological questionnaires as well as parasympathetic impact on stress hormones. Understanding why yoga has this deepest relaxation possibility that helps to restore the body is the key to understanding the real dimension of yoga. It starts with the idea that there are subtle channels in the body which forms the circuitry of the human regulatory system. These are called the nadis in the system of yoga, and the most recent research has identified it as anatomical body parts previously unknown, now called primovascular system. This is where the body's intelligence resides, not the brain, according to yoga and traditional medicine understanding. The brain only controls energy usage in the various parts of the body. Yoga enables to reset the intelligence of this regulatory system in the nadis. This is what enables the deepest relaxation possibility with yoga. In other words, if any exercise does not affect the nadis in a way to reset itself, there is no yoga in that exercise. In the traditional language of yoga, it is said that the process of yoga purifies the nadis. So, in what way is yoga different from other forms of exercises? Without an integration with the nadis, popularly called mind-body integration, which is a misnomer, that purifies the nadis, there is no yoga in any exercise. In the course of doing any exercise, if one becomes internally focused, and then that leads to a state of being a pure observer, that automatically leads to the nadi integration and purification in that exercise. This is the secret of making any exercise into yoga. Thus, yoga can be done in many forms. There can be the physical dimension that popularly we see. There can also be the breathing dimension with one-point focus on the breath. There can also be the dimension of yoga absorption in music or any type of internal vibrations. And in the state of being a pure observer, when one is connected into the intelligence of the regulatory system of the body, one can also use the power of affirmation to make changes. In that context of connection, one can fructify one's intent and can affect not only themselves but others and the environment around as well. This is called the tantra aspect of yoga. This type of ability is a stepping stone into the higher realization of yoga. The real experience of the highest realization of yoga is the realization that this body is only an instrument. The physical body is only an instrument to fulfill the greater purpose of the cosmic flow. In this understanding, one has an attitude of complete surrender to God, with intent of this body to do God's purpose. This is the highest level of yoga. In the Indian tradition, some stalwarts have said that unless self-realization leads to that complete surrender to God, it is not the highest. Thus, we should realize yoga is a theistic philosophy. Much effort has been made by those influenced by Hatha Yoga to see the word Ishvara, Prabhu and Sattva Purusha used in the Yoga Sutras to mean something else other than God. However, for one with that experience, the highest yoga is the integration of mind, body and spirit with ultimate surrender to God to fulfill the purpose for which we are born in this body. The so-called mind-body integration of the physical exercise of yoga is only the beginning. Prepare yourself for the next level. Welcome to the higher and the core of real yoga.